All right,
Okay.
beloveds. Here we go. Hello. So it's Thursday, October 16th, and some of you were on there. I was just on a show with How It Hustle that you got a couple emails about, and we had the Council of Mothers, and I'm still in that energy. So I'm gonna just recap a little bit of the themes as they start to convene and make known who is really coming forward today. But one of the things that I shared was that I woke up at 3 in the morning, which sometimes I do, especially before a show, if I've asked, like, okay, what's our focus for tomorrow's show, for instance. And it's in this case, it was really funny because I woke up in the middle of it was like I was giving the talk and it was coming out of my mouth, and it was Mary Magdalene and saying, you all really are meant now in this time that we're in to be focusing on recollecting all of the exquisite parts of you that's happening rather rapidly as you walk away from old patterns and old belief systems and coming into unification. So that's going to be our theme today still. But before we go into that anymore, I just also want to share that I hope well, several of you are signed up for my light language workshop tomorrow afternoon. So I will really look forward to seeing you there. And there are still spaces available if you still want to register. It's right on my homepage, or you have a few emails. And then also, well, and also, during this transmission, if you have any questions about light language at all, let me know, because I know there are still a lot of questions out there about it. So I'll be happy to answer. But then also I want to announce that come starting November 7th, for 3 weeks, I'm going to be teaching my next master class, and it's an invitation to soften. It's going to be overlit primarily by Mary Magdalene, and to soften into the field of quantum oneness. And the softening is another theme which she and others will probably bring forth a little bit more today and explain that. But I just want to put that on your radar. It'll be 3 Friday afternoons at noon, 12 noon Pacific time. And we haven't had a masterclass like that for several months. So I'm very excited. It's really going to be bringing us back into the energy of the rose and the rose temple and grace that we really were brought into several months ago through the grace masterclass. And so I'm excited to be back in that rose temple space with a lot of you. So you'll get the information. Oh, and when I am including a bonus when you sign up for that, some of you were subscribed last year and part of a master class called a new set point reality, co-creating with the divine. And actually it's called a heart-centered co-creating with the divine. And that became a masterclass. It was part of our Thursday calls. So some of you have that library because you were subscribed at the time. But Archangel Metatron literally swooped in one day in January, a year and a half ago, and said, we're going to be doing this 9-week masterclass with you all. And so that 9-week masterclass is going to be included in the next masterclass. So you'll get that as a bonus when you register, just because this is an exquisite time for us, everyone. And there's so much transition, and the word they use with me is reset. We're continually resetting ourselves every time we make a new choice, a new decision, put our foot down about something, plant a new seed, let go of something to the light, take in more of our own spirit and light. every time we do that, it's a new set point. We are continually elevating ourselves into the higher realm vibration that A, that we came from, and B, that we are bringers of and co-creators of on this planet at this time. And, I've had my doubts over the years about, especially years ago, about the new earth because things were so difficult for so many of us. And it never seemed like any possibility, but there's just no doubt in any cell in my body that the new earth, we're already in that energy and we're starting to see the transitory effects of it. And you're experiencing it yourselves. And it's one thing I would love to see comments about in the comments if you'd like to share, because for instance, a friend and I were talking about not really remembering certain things that we no longer need to carry or remember from the past, for instance, because we've worked through it. It doesn't matter anymore. Even the biggest things, perhaps like a big trauma or a big something, it's been digested, it's been analyzed, it's been worked through and released and forgiven and all of that. And it's not part of what you're taking forward with you as you step more and more deeply into the new earth. So like that's one experience and one example. There's a very, very powerful collapsing of different timelines. And I've been shown that with regards to my health improvements and my health changes in my body, that for me, I'm not saying this for anybody else, but it can very well be for me, some of the aspect of the disease that's getting reprogrammed, my body that's reprogramming itself, has to do with very old, eons old energy and trauma and timelines. And that's because of what I do, but I know a lot of you are doing some of that as well. So being aware that there's literally a quickening collapsing of timelines, which means like, say you had experiences in Atlantis seems to be very big right now, at least in my experiences with others and myself or anywhere else. As you resolve that in you, as it gets resolved, as it gets brought up, seen, if it needs to be analyzed, if it doesn't, let it, as it gets let to the light, there's literally a clearing that happens, a release that happens from your very field. It's just no longer of any significance. And that's part of it too. And that's how we are co-creating the vibrational field that's so elevated in the potentiality, in the positive, in the creation, in the mindset of knowing, of deep knowing. That is what is dreaming forward the new earth. And there's a theme about dreaming too that I'm seeing that asks what is the reality you are dreaming forward. And it's kind of funny because I started talking about a dream I woke up in the middle of that was for today, about how I would be speaking and channeling about recollection of the powerful parts of you that still might want to come home and be here for the party for this next generation of you. So if you're dreaming of the lifestyle, the way of being, the harmony, the things, the manifestations, the businesses, the creations, keeping those alight, keeping a flame under all those dreams, even while we're going through sometimes tumultuous experiences of the stuff that just has to get out. Because frankly, simultaneously, I had this other crazy dream that I had to send to the light. And so obviously I was being prepared for this chat with you all and to share, because maybe some of you are going through some similar things. And in that crazy dream, it was just like showing me the underlying chaos that used to be part of my foundation. And it was showing me, like, I stopped it and said, no more. There was a point in that dream where I was like, I literally woke up right after I said, oh no, that is not happening. I'm rewriting that right now. We're rewriting that. It was with my daughter. We're rewriting that right now. Like, it was so wild how I was in this kind of circusy chaos dream. And then all of a sudden something happened. And I said, nope, that's not how it ends. That's not how the story goes. Absolutely not. And I woke up right then. And I knew, like, that's the message. It was showing me what had been, and it's showing me the power that we all have to say, nope, not going to do that anymore. Not taking that with me, or also blessing it. Like, thank you, I did experience it that way, but no, 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 no. It's not who I am. That's not who we are. We don't do that anymore. So this is an expose about the timing we're in that I'm going to keep going on because I'm guided to. The other thing to share along these lines that is so clear is that this 3-eye Atlas comet is bringing incredibly high vibrational mother goddess love. You could just call it love, but for me, I keep being shown it's divine mother, divine feminine energy that it is coming back to this planet in a way that restores peace and harmony in a very powerful way. It culminates on the winter solstice here. And so one thing it's doing right now, and you might be experiencing some form of this, is it's pushing out. It's almost like a syringe. Like, say you have a syringe that pushes out saline. It's sort of like the comment is like that. It's pushing, it's forcing some of the shadow, some of the old experiences that I'm talking about out, because the you that's in process doesn't have room for that. It's helping us to be that clear, to get clear, to become very clear vessels of enormous love and potentiality. And they always say the likes of which we really cannot imagine. So any of those things, if you've got questions, put them in the chat and I'll address them a little bit later as questions for the guides. And along the way, feel free to ask any other questions that you feel like. And okay, we're going to just shift gears into a bit more of an expose on something different. They say the word expose. That's funny. I've not ever used that word for this. So just a moment. I'd invite you to breathe into your heart and open your heart and soften your shoulders and close your eyes if you like, and have a deep imagining of the self and the life and the love and the harmony that that you already are, and B, that might be growing and expanding, so that you call it in right now and know that it's at the least it's a seed planted, but very likely it's even further along than you can possibly imagine, because you wouldn't have the dream without having had an inception point prior to that a long, 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 long time ago, they're saying. They're saying that all of us planted seeds for ourselves long, 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 long ago, before we even dreamed ourselves into this reality and this incarnation. We were already in a process of co-creation with ourselves, with our teams, with the universe, with the creator beings, with Mother Gaia, and that this mothership also has been gestating and planning its arrival for this time. And there was a channeling of that comet I saw on a show. I'm drawing a blank on the name, but they tapped into the 3I Atlas comet, and it was, first of all, for me, I see very clearly there's a group of like alien, we would call them alien beings, in the center of it, however that works. It's beyond my understanding, but it's kind of encapsulated as what we call a comet, but it's a vessel of extraordinary purpose and potentiality. And first of all, Atlas confirmed that this mission, was gestated and created, I think, millions of years ago, because it's traveled from so far, at least millions of light years ago. And it's so proud of itself that the arrival is on point, and it's been able to moderate that, and they have, and the forces. So all of this, including what you're doing here, is no coincidence, and it's no surprise. And we want to demystify it, because many of you are bringing large revelations to the planet. You're bringing new business ideas. You're bringing new concepts for teaching. You're bringing new potentialities. And do you think that just happened overnight? Or do you want to know and understand and truly believe in every bone in your body that you could have actually been part of a conceptualization of a new reality on this earth that many have been dreaming forward for a long, 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 long time? And that the processes, that the powers that be, and the processes that have been gone through are the time they've run their course. The old world establishment has run its course, and that is because of the previously conceptualized, thought about, carefully honed and planned ideation, putting ideas into form over many, many, many other generational incarnations to arrive us at this time, because it is a 3D planet, and things it's a system. It's a very, very, very complex system that typically has always taken time to become its next version. And we're witnessing the epitomization of that now, meaning the epitome of transformational outcomes that have been co-created by so many over lifetimes. And not only is that the case in the earth reality, say the plasma, the trees, the dirt, the things that the earth is made of, the waters, but it's also that way in our human bodies. And I've been being shown, for instance, with my own healing journey in my body, it became really transformationally illuminated the other day that to switch from old operating systems and a dense body that previously held trauma and disease, there are so many complexities and so many biological systems, but also energy systems and also connections with Mother Gaia, that some of which we can't even understand. I think that goes in the category of how our bodies are these miraculous vessels that we inhabit. But that, all of that, they helped explain why it seems to take a long time for some transformation to happen. Healing, if you want to call it healing or transformation, or leveling up or clearing away or reprogramming, or stepping into a new version. It's really ultimately all part of stepping into a new version. And so what does this have to do with you all? This is Mother Mary, and you all are part of a vast engineering network of light workers who are predestined already from long, long ago to be part of the manual labor, in a way. By that we mean birthing the manual labor of the force of love conquering, or it's like a conquest, but it's more like an overturning of the old school ways. There are many terms we could use. We're trying to stay away from wartime analogies, but it's so big that it's cataclysmic, but in a positive way, where the old, as you all start to envision yourselves anew with pure compassion and love and light and vibrancy, knowing who you are and knowing who loves you and knowing that you are so loved, and having self-compassion, as you do that, you're rewiring the system. So it's been sort of like a car in a body shop that took a lot of turns of different bolts and new piping and new rubber gaskets and different parts, etc. That's how it's kind of felt. But that's because the old energies are sort of equivalent to that, and the new energies are much more higher vibration, crystalline resonance, and that's new. And you can't just take an old car and put a brand new sparkly set of spark plugs that are made out of crystals into it. It won't operate. You have to change the entire system in order for that car to be able to run using the new version of spark plugs, which is kind of what's happening. So in your bodies, but also in the systems on Earth. Wow, this is really fascinating. So that's why it's taken a long time. But now what you've done is become so transparent and clear, and you've created clarity for yourselves. And please stop worrying if you don't have all the answers, because we want you to please start knowing that just the way you are is perfect, and you've harvested all this gold from your experiences. And while it might not all make sense, you're these vessels of pure love. Ultimately, that's all we care about, that you might know about yourselves. You're these vessels of pure love, and you all are so ambitious and strive for so much more, which is delightful and part of who you are. But ultimately, you're vessels of pure Christ love, and you've become that clear so that you're ready for this next generation and this next iteration. And we want you to really embody this at this time, because the new Christ light upgrade is coming with this comet and with the turn of the solstice. And that always represents the return of the light, the Christ light at Christmas time, but also the pagan solstice time. It's always been a time of a return of the light, but that's why it's going to be happening and happening now, and everything happening now is leading up to that that new choice point, which in this year, like many, but in this year very specifically, is rather significant because the comet is coming closest to the Earth on those days, the days right at the solstice. So we're sharing all of this because we want to help you understand how viable and valid and perfect your systems already are. And if you would continue to allow yourselves to soften and let the process happen, that's why we're teaching this masterclass about softening, and we'll be guiding you in new ways of enlightenment through softening, because as we're showing you, the inception has happened and the process is in process, is already ordained long ago, and there we can't emphasize enough the importance of allowing yourselves off the hooks, allowing yourselves to be resting and when you want to rest, to be in action when you want to be in action, but to be softly in the harmonization always, because that will allow you to amalgamate each day the replacement of the guards. It's kind of like that, the replacement of the guards, the incoming light that is essentially your soul embodiment, like letting your body fill more with your own light, and release of the much more easeful release of the old. So all of that is their expose, and now they want, Mary Magdalene is here, and she's saying this: I want to touch upon the vibrational field that you're in right now in this group and in the recording that is very specifically designed to allow a harmonization of all the parts of you that are have still been somewhat disassociated or dysregulated to come into harmony. So we're going to take a few moments to breathe while you are in this field of unique oneness with all of us, and while your soul is able to either show you, or you might have awareness, or simply bring in more of your exquisite soul nature. By parts, we mean parts of your soul, of your essence, perhaps parts of your human experience that maybe just haven't been amalgamated yet. So letting your body soften and letting these parts of you that still might have been outliers out in the field, might have been doing work, might have been feeling outcast, might have been outside, separated for any number of reasons, but allow them to come home. There's nothing else to do than allow. You might feel something in different parts of your body as this is happening, or you might not. The soul retrieval is a process, and the soul knows how to do this And the heart light is on for its parts to come home, back home into the heart, the open heart. So take some time to really feel your heart, perhaps place a hand on your heart and breathe into your heart and allow the resonant parts to come home, to rest within. Maybe it's inner children parts, maybe it's completely galactic parts. It doesn't really matter. It's a homecoming for you to be walking in more wholeness. And this kind of practice at this time is very helpful to sit each day, sit in stillness and allow the shift to happen, whether it's more like this, more homecoming, or whether it's clearing, or whether it's rewriting stories in your mind, saying, no, that's not how I'm going to be even remembering that. There's a different way I remember that now. So there's a different reality I choose as that, whatever it is. Sitting in harmonization intention is what we recommend. Maybe with some crystals, maybe with a cup of coffee, whatever is your ritual. But just sitting and allowing, kind of calling it in, but allowing harmonization. Katina namake titidatiana hirabaanya. The soul knows just what to do when the soul calls home all of you. Kiana hitatapakiana yawatiana hiranamakaya tatiana yawa hirawa ya awania kaatina namaya. It's that easy. It's that safe. It's that harmonious. It's that beautiful. Kina nawatia. See the lightness in that light language? That's for you. Okay, that's really what the energy that I would like to invite you to stay in. And if you want to add more questions to the chat, I do see a couple of comments of questions. I do not feel connected to most of my past, even difficult to recall certain events. Very freeing. That is what we're talking about. In the past, you might have perceived that as a problem, any number of you, and there were reasons to forget your past or to obscure your memory or to obscure your vision as a form of survival. But now you are coming to a time where it doesn't matter. It's a new dawn and a new day, and you get to take what you want and leave the rest. That's always been the case, but there's a liberation field that you walk in that's very, very, very open. So like, we're delighted that you share that, beloved, because it's a choice point that you've made along the way to shed limiting, in this case, memories, but they always culminate in different beliefs and different systems, don't they? They build up into belief systems. They build up into how you've created yourself and formed yourself. And to let that go is a very, very liberating way to be. So congratulations on that. It is very freeing, and we honor and bow to that experience that you've done for yourself. So nice work. That's the whole council saying that to you. And then there's a question, could you define what a gatekeeper is? Yes, that's a beautiful, beautiful question. Okay, I'm going to tap into some other guides. Actually, kita tanina namania kaatinana. Okay, so now the Lords of the Records of the Akashic Records have stepped forward for this because historically there's a tradition of gatekeepers that we'd like to illuminate for you. What is a gatekeeper? In terms of the here and now on earth, there are many versions of them. There are gatekeepers like yourselves who are keeping a space open as a portal bringer for the new Christ consciousness. So overall, you all who are doing this kind of work and listening to this program and part of this and other communities of the Christ light, one thing you all have in common is that you are channels and that you know explicitly how to regulate the flow of the new consciousness. You've been mastering that for many eons and many lifetimes on this planet, and you've been learning and remembering that in these recent decades for most of you. So you are keeping the gate open for the new light. Now, how is this relevant? For instance, we'll show you the comparison between this time and the literal time when Yeshua and all of the others involved in that, there were millions really, but thousands in that vicinity of Judea, where his soul entered, but being held by the forces that be and the collective. That's a very palpable representation of what you're doing. Now, in this case, it's not the birth of a new physical baby human. It's literally the birth of the new human experience, the multidimensional human, call it the new human genome, the new version of the new human. And there are millions of babies being born at this time, bringing that forward, but you are gatekeepers of that at the elemental levels of society and nature, wherever you play, wherever you experience life, that are, you could say you're resourcing yourselves like a channel that where boats are drawn, say, by donkeys between locks, one lock to the next lock, to the next lock, to the next lock, and the water rises so the boat can come into the next lock, and then it's moderated by the lock keepers, but the boat itself moves along and the water works accordingly. That's a way to know how it works, where you throughout your lives have had these different experiences, either for a short time or say a decade, of being in between locks, where you're experiencing the light in this way, and then you have a transformational experience, and then you experience the next version in between locks, and the water rises to meet it, the light rises to meet it, you rise to meet the circumstances. So all of you have had any number of those like situations between locks that are what we mean by gatekeeping, in moderating and figuring out how to navigate life in new ways, being the light, bringing the light, channeling the light, speaking the light, and essentially writing the new script So you all hold key codes of the New Earth master plan in your own ways. So we're giving so many analogies, just like the car engine gets rebuilt to be able to work with crystalline new version of kind of spark plugs that don't even exist yet. You've been doing that, and you've been moderating the flow of the creation of that for yourselves. So, for instance, with Suzanne's health, she's been moderating the transformation of the body in just the right way to experience this and then that, and then this and then that, and then this and then that, which is representational of the systems that get redirected and changed and reconstructed over time because it's matter. And her soul is moderating all of that as a gatekeeper of the new light codes, the new version of reality we're creating. Again, all of it is as within, so without, as above, so below. As it happens in our bodies and our mindset, it happens then in the world and vice versa. So it's a ping-ponging. So gatekeeper, if you have any further questions, go ahead and ask them if you want us to refine that anymore. But the overall, what we would say is the knowing that you're a bringer of new crystalline version resonance that is building the new earth, is used to build the new earth, like new foundational energy, and the ability to moderate it and the ability to know what to do with it. You're all masters of that in your own ways, whether it's whilst you are knitting a blanket for a loved one, or building a new business, or creating a new recipe. It doesn't matter what you're physically doing. You're using your mastery, your skills, your acumen. You've always been doing that since birth to zone in and harmonize. So we're not doing vocal questions right now. Just please put them in the chat, just to keep the resonance. So there's another question. I now have more physical disease than ever. Shortness of breath, 30%, RA, edema, and now cancer. What is the teaching? What is this teaching me? Am I in a lesson? Okay. First, before I go into that, Anthony, I hear you, because I've been experiencing similar things. And actually, everything that I'm talking about and channeling about, literally much of it was shown to me yesterday. Like it probably in preparation for this today, I didn't know I would be bringing it through today, but because I've experienced different new things in my body and had the same thoughts. So I want to just share that. But that's why they were showing me these systems are so complex and extraordinarily being recreated. So that's overall a point that we want to share for everybody, because it's the systems are massive that are getting changed, and that's why it's taken eons and decades and centuries to move towards this. And that's why it's, we're spending these lifetimes in a brilliant co-creation of being aware also. So with that as a preface, I'll tap in specifically. What is this teaching me, and the lesson? for you specifically, um, there's a resonance of failure, Anthony, and if you would like, they want to assist you to release that. Now it's there's a lot of that is in the collective right now, the failures of systems, the failures of governments, the failures of people, the failures of leaders. So part of it is subconscious, part of it is not. But it's safe to say that you are no longer needing to dwell in that home anymore, where there was a lot of they're saying there was a lot of correspondence of failure in and misgivings. That's normal in the human experience, but what they want to rewrite with you right now is to that you've been in the process of rewriting and deleting that experience. And as in my case with my health, when we're removing ourselves from very old and powerfully strong programs and DNA that have been ours in this lifetime and from our histories in various ways, it's a lot. And when it is ready to get out and come to the light, it becomes known. So that's the good news, is that you can look at it, you can choose to look at it like that, like, oh, this is simply a modification based on me having already moved through those old systems, and now I'm up leveling and upgrading, and that stuff is purging out of me. And so right now Metatron is bringing for you Metatron's cube, and this is for you specifically. If you might even want to mute or turn off your video or anything, it doesn't matter, and let them adjust you, because they want to quicken the harmonization for you, so that you completely are washed clear. What you're sending to the light is disillusionment and failure energy, and then the body won't be holding that anymore, and it's already been, again, in its way out. The lessons have been learned. Now the lesson would be, what do I do next? What do I do next now that I'm free of this? How do I choose to live now that I'm free of this? How do I choose in this moment now that I'm free of that old disillusionment, that old failure programming? What do I do in this moment to be in joy and harmony and take advantage of this time now? Okay. And okay, we have a question. Who am I as a gatekeeper for myself? Or sorry, for myself, or is it a task for the collective? For all of you, it's both, beloved. For all of you, you're gatekeepers for yourselves first and foremost. You're here for yourself, but you're all here for the collective, and it's all for one for all. So it's both for all of you. And that's why they were showing, like, they're just using me as an example, because I've been moderating this process of disease in my body system that has so many other aspects, which include, the trauma I worked through, the self-hatred I worked through, blah, 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 ad nausea, because it was a lifetime of it. But I've been moderating it all the time and moving between to new lock set points. It's a fascinating visual. I hope that's helpful for you. So I'm doing that for my own soul first and foremost, but I also very well know that everything I do benefits the collective and the extent of that it does is up to me. Like when I get up and talk about it, like to you, when I share about it. But I mean, it's also energetically helping the collective too. So that's a brilliant, beautiful question. And you're each and every one of you is doing your own versions of that. You can't understand the effects you have on the collective. We wish you could see yourselves and the truth of what you do. We wish more than anything that you would open to that truth, because it's a truth that will set you free in many ways. And we wish that you would give that to yourselves as an early holiday present, if you wouldn't mind, and we'll be happy to assist you. That's an invitation from the mothers. Okay. Thank you all for being here and being a part of this. And I trust that it's helpful in myriad ways. And thank you for these really brilliant questions. And I'll look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you, thank you, thank you.